Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Alright, so if you're just coming across my video, you're highly welcome. My name is Stella. Now in today's video, we're going to be making this lovely skirt with a front slit. Okay, I already have a video on how to make the top. Alright, so let's jump right into it. Now the first thing you need is to go ahead and draft your basic skirt block. Okay, so I have it here. Alright, now we will jump right into the alteration. Remember, our main focus in this video is the front. Okay, so I'll keep the back aside and we'll focus on the front. Now this is my front skirt block. All right, so I have my dart there. Okay, and I simply extended my dart line, which is 4 inches, all the way to the hem. Now we'll come in with another pattern paper, but this time around is going to be on fold. All right, so this is our new pattern paper and it's on fold. So I'll simply pin this our front block on the new pattern paper. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and pin it down, then we'll proceed to cut it out. All right, so if you're just seeing my video, kindly subscribe to my channel, like the video, share, drop your comments on your remarks, and I'll attend to them. Okay, so I'll proceed to cut out exactly. Now the skirt pattern you're seeing already includes my hemming allowance of 2 inches. All right, so I'll just go ahead and cut out exactly what we have. All right, and this is it. Now we need to proceed to notch the dart legs. Okay, so I will just give them tiny notches and that's it. Now I'll proceed to take off the pins so that we will jump right into it. Trust me, it's super easy and straightforward. All right, so I have taken off the pins, I've separated the pattern. Now we don't need this other pattern anymore. Okay, so let's focus on our new skirt block. All right, so I'll go ahead and open up. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is to go ahead and mark the midpoint. So I will use my ruler to mark the center or the midpoint of this skirt, okay, of the front block. And here it is. I've done that. Now you need to decide that you want your slit to be. Okay, I want mine to be on the left. All right, so but for clarity's sake, we'll go ahead and label, so left and right. So you choose where you want your slit to be. Mine is going to be on my left side. All right, so we're going to focus more on the left side. We don't have business with the right side for now. All right, so I'll go ahead and just mark my hip length. Okay, and it's time for us to redraw our dart. All right, so the bust span we're working with is 4 inches. So I'll go ahead and make a mark on my 4 inches bust span. All right, and to draw your dart, you need to go up by 2 inches. So I just marked that. Now I'll proceed to connect our dart to our initial notch. Okay, remember our notches when we transferred our skirt block to this pattern. All right, so this is it. I have marked my dart. Now we need to extend our bust span to the hem. So same bust span of 4 inches. I'll just mark that and I'll use a straight line to connect all the way to the hem. All right, so that's it. Remember, we simply transferred our skirt pattern to this new pattern that is on fold. Okay, and we're simply transferring our dart. Okay, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and label. So this is our side front and here is my center front. Remember, this is the side that I want my slit to be. Okay, so we'll proceed to cut out. Now pay attention to the lines I am cutting. Okay, I'm not cutting the mid front. I'm cutting our new line. Okay, and this is it. Now we'll move over to transfer our pattern to the fabric. Is that simple and straightforward, right? I know. Don't mind me. Okay, so we'll add our sewing allowance of 1.5 inches. All right, and that's all the way all the sides. All right, and we're adding ½ inch to the areas that we'll be joining. Okay, so I'll go ahead and transfer this to my fabric and we'll proceed. So here it is. I've transferred it to the fabric, and like I explained earlier, I have 1.5 inches added to the sides, okay, and I have ½ inch added to our joining part, okay. So now if your slit is going to be on the right side, it's still the same process, okay. Go ahead and extend your dart all the way down and you go ahead and cut out. Now let's move over to interfacing. So I interfaced from the waist to the hip length, okay, and the hem. Now if you have enough interfacing, you can interface the entire fashion fabric and lining, okay. There is no rule to this, all right, but if you don't have enough, interface like I have just done. Now I did the same thing on the lining as well. So you interface from the waist to the hip and about 4 inches from the hem, okay, and the sides that you will be joining. All right, now you need to pay attention to the placement so that you don't mix it up when you're cutting your lining. All right, so I needed to point this out. Now this is what we have. So this is the way our skirt is going to be when we are done. Now and this is the way the lining is going to be. So if you look at the interfacing on the lining, it's the same thing that I did on the fashion fabric, okay. So let's look at the joining process. Now we will go ahead and join lining separate and fashion fabric separate, okay. Now I also went ahead to mark my darts. All right, remember we only have that on the right side, okay. So I marked it on both the fashion fabric and the lining. So I'll go ahead and hold my dart. After that, I will go ahead and stitch down, okay, using our 0.5 inch. So I'll join the lining to lining and I'll use ½ inch to stitch it all the way to the hem. All right, now we're doing the same thing on the fashion fabric, but we're going to be making use of zip, okay, on the slit area. I'll tell us the reason much later. So back to the fashion fabric. So here's my zip. So it's an invisible zip. I will be stitching it down, all right, from the hem all the way to my knee length. So that's where the zip is going to stop. You can extend yours upwards to your desired length, but mine will stop on my knee length, okay. So I will use a tight stitch all the way from my waist to the knee length, and from the knee length I'll use a loose stitch to the hem. Just our normal practice of fixing zip, okay. So and that will be it for the front. So I'll go ahead and do this and we will proceed. Now back to the reason for the slit and the zip, okay. The reason is most times when you have your slit in the front and you sit down, it begins to expose your thighs. So with the zip, you can easily zip it up when you want to sit, okay, so that you're all decent. All right, so I'll go ahead and do all my joinings and let's look at the back. So because our slit is on the front, I will go ahead and use a loose stitch from my waist to the hip length, and from the hip length we are stitching all the way to the hem. All right, and I'll fix my zip. So that's it for the back. I'll also hold my dart. All right, so what we were supposed to do on our regular skirt with back slit is what we're doing on the front this time, okay. So I hope that's explanatory enough. And I'll also hold my dart. So I have it marked. Now I did the same thing on the lining. All right, so now I did the same interfacing as well, and like I said, you can interface completely, okay. It's all your choice, but I don't have enough interfacing, okay. So I did the same marking on my lining as well, from my waist to the hip, and from the hip we're going to use a tight stitch to the hem. So I'll go ahead and do all these joinings, iron them, and we'll proceed. All right, so here it is. I've joined the back, I fixed the zip, okay, and I have all our stitch lines pressed open. You can see, so it's all pressed open. Now I have gone ahead to mark my shapings, okay. So I've done the shaping, I have it marked. You can see the lines on both the fashion fabric and the lining. Now whenever you're doing your shaping, always ensure that your lining is a bit loose by at least 0.5 inch, okay. So we're going to use a different method to turn this time around. Now we're turning fashion fabric and lining of the back together and fashion fabric and lining of the front together. So let's start with the back. Now we're extending the lining outwards by our hemming allowance of 2 inches. So, and you will go ahead and place your fashion fabric on that 2 inches line. All right. Now, and you will join by 1/2 inch. So I will use my pins to just demonstrate how we will join on the sewing machine. And here it is, I've pinned it down on the 1/2 inch. All right. So I'll go ahead and turn it and I'll flip it this way when I'm done. Okay. And I'll give it a good press so that that area will relax well. All right. So this is how it's going to be when we are done. Okay, so whatever hemming allowance you left, okay, you added, go ahead and extend your lining with that hemming allowance. All right, now let's move over to the front. So I have attached my zip. All right, like I explained to us, I have my zip there, so you can easily zip it up and down when you want to, especially when you want to sit down. Okay, so this is the inside. You can see how it's laying flat. Now the secret to a neat outfit is just to iron every step of the way. I can't emphasize this enough. Okay, so I have also marked my shaping on the front. Now I did the same thing on the lining. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and turn. So I'll use the lining to turn the hem area and the zip. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn it, then we will proceed. Remember what I said, whatever hemming allowance you left, extend your lining by that hemming allowance, okay, and turn using 0.5 inch. So I'll do that, and here we have it. I have turned the front. Okay, you can see the way the fashion fabric is extended inwards, okay, towards the lining. That's the whole essence of extending your lining outwards by the hemming allowance that you added. All right, I have also used the lining to turn the zip. Okay, so I have a little opening there, and this is I like to leave just a little opening for turning of the skirt. Okay, and I'll use my blind stitch to finish this up much later. So this is the back of the skirt. I have also turned it. I've turned the fashion fabric using the lining, just the same way I explained it for us. Okay, you can see our hemming allowance of 2 inches extended inwards. All right, now it's time for us to join the front and the back together. So we are starting our joining from the hem. Okay, so you go ahead and align the hem of the front with the hem of the back. Okay, we're aligning them by the sides. Now ensure that the two of them meet, not that when you're done one part will be jumping up. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and stitch on my shaped line. Okay, I have my lines, my shaping lines marked, so I'll go ahead and stitch this, give it a good press, and I'll show us the finished look. Okay, and here we have it. Our skirt is ready. This skirt did not take time. All right, so you can see the slit. The beauty of this slit is that when you sit down, you zip it, and because it's an invisible zip, it will look like there's no zip there. All right, so it gives you that modesty, full coverage look, if that's what you're looking for anyway. So now this is the back. So this tiny bulge you're seeing is for your butt. Okay, the moment you wear it, it's going to fit perfectly. All right, and this is it. We're done. Let me turn the skirt to the inside so that we can see the finished look. And here it is. I particularly love the way the fashion fabric is extended inwards. Okay, so that even when it flips a bit, it's not going to be showing the lining from the hem. Okay, so I will still give this a good press, and that's the end. Thank you guys for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel, like the video, share, okay, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.